We've got the data, the content for our application, except the user can't see it. Well, let's feed it to the interface.
We are going to start by providing media list items to our media list view controller. For that, we're going to create a load data method. Within this method, we're simply calling getMediaList method of the media service object. We provided some fun search term and processed the result. If the result is successful and the list is not nil, we are going to update our shared media list object within our data manager, and then we are simply going to reload data in our collection view. What's important here is that we are performing the reload data and collection view on the main thread of the application. Our application is being executed in multi-thread environment. Threads are basically sequences of code that could be executed simultaneously and share their application resources. If the response from the server was not successful, we'll need to show no data alert. To help us do that, we are going to create a helper method that will handle an alert, and then simply call it when we need to handle no data situation. And finally, we just need to call load data within viewDidLoad method. And now we are ready for a quick check. We still saw some sample data that we used before, and after some time, it changed to the data that we received from the server. Seems like it's working. But how about the images? Let's remember that collection view is a scrollable component. Each cell is displayed as the user scrolls through the content. Some cells may not even be displayed at all. So there is no need for us to preload all the images for every single element. Instead, we are going to do that on demand. As we serve each cell, we'll make sure that we're also serving an image for it. So let's now alter our cell4item method and add the image loading functionality. Here we're trying to compose an image URL, and if that goes well, we are calling the getImage method of our media service. If we receive image data in response, we are composing a UI image using that data. And if we were able to generate an image, we're simply updating it for the cell. And like in previous example, when we were reloading data in our collection view, we're also requesting that the method setImage is executed on the main thread of the application. All the UI-related functionality in iOS has to be executed on the main thread. Let's now run the app again. We can see the images are being loaded correctly. The collection view cell4item method is called every time when the cell needs to be displayed, even if it was previously displayed to the user during scrolling, which means that we're going to request the image using the URL every time the user scrolls through that particular cell. That's quite wasteful. Instead, let's utilize the artwork data property of our media brief object. Here we're going to check if we already have data in that property. We're going to use it to create an image and serve it directly to the cell. Otherwise, we'll do what we previously did, request the image data using the URL. That is all for the list view. Now we're going to work with the detail view. So let's switch to the media detail view controller and create 3 new functions. First one to load data, next one to populate media components, and the last one to populate swag elements. Let's review the load data method. It simply calls getMedia method of media service. If the response was successful and we were able to get media object, we're assigning it to our media property, and then setting swag property from data manager. Next, we're updating UI components by calling helper functions. If the networking request was not successful, we are presenting the no data alert to the user to communicate the matter. Next, to populate media UI components, we are checking if media object is present, then update all the text labels, and finally request the image to be served. This time, the data loading happens only once. There is no scrolling in our view. Therefore, there is no reason for us to save it within our media component. Populate swag method is very similar. We are checking that our data object is present, updating the text label, and requesting the image. Last line of code here is going to be calling the load data function in viewDidLoad method. Now let's take a look at the result. We've got our list and some details. And let's see what cool stuff we have here. Cool indeed. That is all. Nice work!